Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. Today I came across an article on an app that I have, and it really helped to clear up how you know when your brainwashing is complete. As you know, if you're in the US, back to school time is upon us. In our area, kids typically start around the end of August or maybe the first week of September, depending on what school district you're in. And I do know that there are states that have their kids start just a few weeks earlier in August. But no matter where you are, the time is just about coming up where your kids are going to start going back to school if they are traditionally schooled. Now, I'm not speaking of homeschooling. And as this time of year is coming up, in light of the recent tragic shootings that have happened, it seems that there are a lot of parents, like last year, who are choosing to invest in bulletproof backpacks for their kids. And I just wanted to go over some of the things in this article that I found because, well, we'll get into that in a bit. Let's just read what this says first of all. Bulletproof backpack sales surge after shootings. They say they are up 200 to 300%. With every mass shooting in the United States comes renewed fear of another. It's a fear particularly potent among parents of young children, and especially now, days away from the start of the school year. It's not unwarranted. CNN examined 10 years of shootings on K through 12 campuses and found two sobering truths. School shootings are increasing, and no type of community is spared. Instead of letting their children choose a plastic backpack covered in Hello Kitty or Spider-Man, some parents are purchasing bags that double as shields in case kids get caught in gunfire. Companies like Guard Dog Security, Bullet Blocker, and Tuffy Packs designed bulletproof backpacks to quell those concerns. The retailer said backpack sales spiked during the back-to-school season, and all three said they saw a significant uptick in the aftermath of mass shootings. Let's just continue. So, to protect his two school-age children, the former sheriff's deputy inserted body armor into their backpacks, he said. Classmates' parents asked for inserts for their children's bags, and it grew into a business. The company's website calls the bulletproof backpack a consumer favorite. Prices range from $160 to $490, and the smallest offering, I'm going down a little bit, the junior pack is suggested for preschoolers. Sales have increased 200% since the mass shootings last weekend. Okay, let's just stop there for a minute. I would be lying if I would say that I am not completely baffled at how parents are finding solace in buying bulletproof backpacks for their children for school. Are we really at that point in society right now where parents, they might not think it's okay that their kids need bulletproof backpacks, but just the sheer fact that they're not second guessing the notion of sending their kids into these institutions where they need these things? Imagine having to buy a bulletproof backpack for a 5 or 6 or 12 or even 17-year-old student. These are your children. And homeschooling is legal. And not only is homeschooling legal, but it is safer. So it boggles my mind that there are so many parents who are investing all of this money into bulletproof backpacks for their kids when there is a much, much safer option. And, imagine how these children feel, these little 5 and 6-year-olds, when their parents are buying them bulletproof backpacks. Imagine the fear that they are feeling when they have to go to these schools, that they are knowingly going to a place where even their parents admit that there is a potential safety issue there. No 5 or 6-year-old should need a bulletproof backpack. No 10-year-old should need a bulletproof backpack. If you get to that point in time where you need to start, having your kids wear body armor to school, it's time to pull them out. This is where critical thinking comes in. And I'm sorry if I'm sounding angry right now, but I honestly, I can't help it. Because let's just go on a little bit where it starts talking about these, there are active shooter drills going on in schools nowadays. So let's read about that. Okay. Well, first of all, let's just see this. Raquel K.W. Donahue decided to purchase a bulletproof insert for her 6-year-old son before he starts first grade. A bulletproof insert for a first grader. She opted for the insert instead of the pricier backpack because he'll outgrow a bag quickly, and the insert was marketed to last 20 years, she said. I don't understand. I understand that bulletproof things are there to protect people. They protect police officers. They protect soldiers. I understand that it's there for protection. But when are people going to realize that their kids are not property of the government? They do not need to send their kids into these unsafe situations. And so often you just hear parents talking about how they just couldn't afford the luxury of staying home, or, the luxury of having one parent, with the kids all the time in order to homeschool them. And let me tell you something. My husband and I, we struggle. We are not living in luxury. Homeschooling our children is a necessity. It is a sacrifice that we are willing to make. There are a lot of things that we cannot afford that other families can. But when it comes down to it, on our list of priorities, our children are right up there at the top. And I think that it's about time that other parents really start thinking about this. Now here, let's start talking about the active shooter drills. The very existence of a bulletproof backpack forces parents to confront an uncomfortable reality, but it's a conversation many children are having in schools, and an essential one for parents who want to protect them, Sheik said. When I was in school, there was no such thing as active shooter drills, he said, but times have changed. Donahue's son brought it up first. Remember, this is the one, he's just starting first grade. He came home from an active shooter drill in kindergarten and shared what he'd learned to do if a bad guy comes to hurt him, she said. He's worried about things I never dreamed of, she said. It makes me sad and angry. I have to ask, if you are sad and angry that your child is going through the emotional trauma of having to go through active shooter drills at the age of 5 or 6 at the place that promises to educate them, why are you still sending them there? And, people will ask, well, what about other places? Shootings happen in other places. Yes, they have. They've happened at churches, and we know they've happened at the Walmart, and they've happened at malls and just various places. Yes, they can happen everywhere. And no, you're not going to just stay in your house and never leave home. But the difference is that places like the mall or Walmart or churches, they are all places that you occasionally go to, and they are voluntary. School is compulsory. You are required to send your child to school unless you homeschool them. Additionally, school is not an occasional thing. Your child will be in school for 30 to 40 hours a week, 5 days a week for approximately 36 weeks out of the year. That is where the difference comes in. Your child will be spending an awful lot of time in an institution that parents are now feeling the necessity to buy their kids bulletproof backpacks. This is where the whole idea of indoctrination comes in, because you have to ask yourself the question, why are so many parents not putting 2 and 2 together? Why are so many parents who are aware that homeschooling is legal, why are they not disenrolling their kids to keep them safe? They obviously know that school is not a safe place anymore. It's not even just the shootings. School violence in general is on the rise. Teachers who are predatory to their students are on the rise. And yet there is just some sort of disconnect that parents don't want to face it. And they keep sending their kids to the very same places. And it all goes back to the indoctrination, the brainwashing that is happening in these school settings. That most of us parents who attended these traditional schools, we dealt with it too. We went through the indoctrination, and that indoctrination tells us that school is the only way, and we are taught that nothing is connected, hence all of the compartmentalized learning, which I will be addressing later on this week or next week, hopefully. But through compartmentalized learning, they teach us that nothing is connected, and all of the skills that we may have once had of making connections and understanding critical thinking and how things go together and how things can lead to something else, very often that skill is crushed out of students in school. There is no, they just cannot make those really important connections of understanding the consequences of the actions. You know, everything that is taught in school is about obedience. That's what all of the memorization is for. All of that memorization is to help instill in students obedience, the act of submitting to authority. That is what that is about. And that is exactly what is happening. When parents refuse to withdraw their children from an institution that is clearly becoming more and more dangerous, it is because they have not woken up to the indoctrination that they've been going through, or that they went through when they were younger, to the fact that, you know what? School is not the only way. The government does not own your children. The government is not the parent of your children. It is about time that parents step up to the plate and start thinking about these things. If you have to worry about buying your kids bulletproof backpacks for them to go to school, isn't it about time that you start thinking about, maybe I shouldn't send my child there to begin with? Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one possibly down below. My last video did have comments. I don't know about this one. YouTube usually disables my comments. If there are no comments, you can always find me on Instagram. I will leave that link in the description box. And if you like my work, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And I hope you have a great day.